Here we go one more time, Sal and me with the Daily Laker podcast. And we're going to just be kind of doing a recap with the Lakers game last night against Portland. For me, on my end, I've just been working with the Raiders here in Las Vegas for the past 4 weeks. I got 2 more weeks and then I'll be back in LA. But other than that, I've been trying to stay up with sports and watching the NBA bubble and all that. But what's up with you?
Before we get to me, man, I gotta ask, like, working in a professional setting with professional athletes, what's the biggest takeaway?
It's just the repetition, honestly. That I think in general, I think we know that, right? As people that are trying to start our own kind of um, business, our own companies, our own, just kind of media companies. We know that it takes repetition, and with these pro athletes, I see that that's how they make it. That's how they're in the league. That's how they call it, right? How long have you been in the league? That's what you ask them, and it's just repetition, man. You see them uh, do practice from 7:30 to 9:30, so 2 hours of just straight up practicing. Right now they're with pads, so they're going all out. Pretty fast speed on everything they do. And then after that first practice, they get a break, right? They go to lunch, and then like from 1:30 to or 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. it's another walkthrough. But in the walkthrough, there's no helmets, no pads, but they're still putting in the work, going over the offensive plays, the defensive plays, the special teams. So it's just a lot of repetition. And then obviously in between that, like they got their strength and conditioning, just to keep their bodies strong and flexible, ready to be, ready to go for the game. So it's repetition, man. That's the takeaway.
Okay. Man, I got so many questions just for that, just because I don't know too many people that are inside a professional team in any sports locker room. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna do two more, and I'll try to keep it quick because I know people want to hear about the Lakers, our take on the Lakers. Uh,
Yeah.
Number one, the first one is any special people that you think you've met that maybe their story stands out real quick.
Well, I can't think of a specific person, but I think a lot about the undrafted,
Mm-hmm.
um, players that are in there right now. I met a couple of them, and it's just like all the rookies, just like they come here and they're trying to make it, right? They're still not guaranteed a spot right now. There's 80 players that are in training camp, but at the end of the day only 53 are going to make the team, and 10 get into the practice squad for the season. But um I mean, like one guy that I can think of that I see him trying. So there's a lot of athletic trainers that are there for the summer, and we pick like what position we want to work with throughout the camp. So I picked the offensive line.
Okay.
And so because of that reason, I work with them a little bit closer. So one guy that sticks out to me, his name is Kamal, and he's undrafted, but he's out here grinding. He's out here learning. He's a rookie, you know what I mean? So he has to show that he can learn quick and that he can put in the work to be able to like be one of these veterans. Like at 2 or 3 years, you're considered a veteran, in the NFL. But he's out there trying to make it. So he's just somebody that I think of, that I see him grinding every day.
We wish the best to him, and we wish the best to him,
Definitely.
and hopefully he makes it to the other side. Shout out to Jamel, right? Jamel?
Kamal Seymour.
Kamel. Okay, Kamel.
Yeah.
And then last thing, any crazy injuries
Crazy injuries.
we've seen so far?
Well, that would be a HIPAA violation if I
Right,
if I said injuries, but but something that I could say is that um, there's a period where these guys have to like acclimatize to the weather, acclimatize to the speed. So if you go from like zero, right, especially with COVID, right, since we have all this months with closed gyms, just restrictions on parks, all these things, you you don't have the same access to places where you can do strength and conditioning on your own. So with that being said, when you come to training camp, you might be a little bit deconditioned. You're not as ready as you would be
Mhm.
in other years. So now you're coming in here and the injuries that you see are like hamstring strains, just more soreness than usual, just because you're trying to ramp up as quick as possible, obviously in a controlled manner, so that eventually when you have your first game. So the Raiders have their first game September 13 against the Panthers. So once that happens, like, you want to be ready to go. You want to be at your best, performance peaking and all that. So everything has to be planned out. But definitely, like that period where you're like trying to ramp up your activity, that's where injuries happen.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, man. Those are great questions though. I think
I love sports, man. I could talk about sports all day. Those little procedural, the small steps that it takes to even opening day. I love that. I love preseason talk. I love all of that.
yeah, man. And then for me,
I don't,
it's
I don't get enough of it. Also, because I played sports my whole life, and then and now the industry that I'm in is there's no sports at all. There's no preseason. It's like just constant work. So uh, in sports, I think there's a restart every single year where you set a new goal every single year. In I think government work is in public service, at least in what I do. Those goals tend to last out a little bit longer. They're not always, there's no clear cut. Like, this is the end of one
yeah.
goal. This is the beginning of one goal. They kind of all intermingle, and there's never truly one time that's like a start and one time that's a finish.
I
So that's
agree with
why
you.
I always have a lot of questions.
Yeah, the season, right? It's
Right,
a new season is about to start, and they'll have an end of the season once the Super Bowl ends, and they have a winner, and then they'll have time off. But I agree with you. For us, right, that we're not in a like a professional sport setting. We're doing activities on our own, but it's just like constant work. We're
right,
constantly trying to improve. But to that end is the back to the first thing that I said about repetition. It's like we're trying to get that repetition in wherever we can when we're not working.
yeah,
For these athletes, it's what they get paid for. It's their
right,
job, and that's another thing that I started hearing more this season working with them. Last year obviously I work with the Raiders as well, but just this year I heard players like talking to their wife or somebody on the phone, and they're just like, I'm at work right now,
wow,
and we don't think about that when we think about athletes. We don't think about them working. It's
yeah.
just like we think about them playing a sport, but for them it's their job.
Yeah, man. You see, that's a whole nother layer that you could open up so many more questions there. You got your lady calling, like you gotta be like,
Yeah, because they're there for 12 hours a day, like every day is different, right? Because of meetings and all that. But
I'm
some
sure
days,
they miss their guys. I'm sure they're
yeah,
missing their husbands, their boyfriends,
and
whatever. So I'm
kids.
sure the girls, their kids, I'm sure they want to talk to them, but you can't. You got to put that off to the side. It's a sacrifice.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I feel like this can be definitely like its own topic, just
Yeah.
talking about our own experiences with sports and kind of like what we're doing with our own activity and health and all that for sure. But uh
Yeah.
but but with you, bro, let's catch up with you a little bit. What's going on?
I'll keep it quick. Super sweet. I mean, I've been running a lot. I got my Apple Watch now. It like
Hmm.
tracks my stuff. I've been stretching a lot, so I've been kind of on my health tip as well. Don't tell nobody. Found a little park where they play pickup soccer. So I've been kind of
Yeah,
doing that a little bit.
yeah,
Um, the project is still in the works. I'm in the mixing and mastering stage of a 9-song project. I think we discussed last time. I'm still super excited for that, man. I love how that came together beautifully. Like, it felt effortless. It's been in the works for like 2 years. Shooting for November with that. The Sueño team is going strong. Sueño team is going strong. So a lot of good on my end, man. A lot of good. Cannot
awesome.
complain at all.
Yeah, no, and it's good that you feel that way too, that it's been kind of smooth to get your input into your music, because I know you're producing a lot as well, right? You're not
Right.
just doing the lyrics and the rapping, you're also doing
Right.
more of the background stuff.
So I mean, I think I made there's 9 songs. I think I made six of those beats. Three of the songs that are produced by others, but I made six of those beats, and I think I contributed on one more of them. So that's been a skill. That's been a skill that I've been building as well. And same thing, repetition, repetition,
Yeah.
repetition.
Yeah,
So,
and that's huge because you're also able to help out other artists when it comes to music, right? Because you can have that kind of like background knowledge on how to get something from start to end, as opposed to just you being the rapper or writing the lyrics. I feel like a lot of the times that's kind of where we start, right? Like you got an idea, you want a story to tell, but then you
right.
need kind of help getting things together. And I feel
Yeah.
like you've gotten to that point where you're getting all of that.
And the cool thing I would say about like I'll draw parallels, between music and sports is that in sports, in soccer, when you came across and you met somebody that plays soccer as well, then you get on the field with them and there's like instant chemistry because you kind of figure out how they play, then they figure out how you play, and then you feel each other out. Same thing with music. It's like you're in the studio, and I've been in the studio sometimes trying to work with people who the chemistry isn't always there. We still, work through it. And I've been in the studio with people who, like, man, within hours you have a full song, like magic, So that chemistry stuff is beautiful too. So
Oh yeah.
uh, it's a lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's a great parallel for sure. Yeah. Sports and art, right? They're all art in their own way, right? If we look at it from like a philosophical perspective, it's like some people are very physically talented. Some people are more mentally talented to be creative, right?
Right,
Not IQ, but just creativity wise. Like an athlete is super creative in using their body, right? And
right,
somebody like you that's making music, you're super creative in producing beats and putting a
right.
song together and writing the lyrics and all of that. So for
Getting
sure.
your ideas out. Getting your ideas out.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's talk about these Lakers, though,
All
man.
right. Yeah, for sure, bro, man. It was a, a crazy night, bro. I was not expecting that. I expected the Lakers to come out balling hard. Like, I don't know, I felt like LeBron James was gonna come out hungry, like he was not gonna let that Lakers lose the first game, but it happened.
I I have like two takes. I feel like one is it almost feels like they came out arrogant, as if they didn't need to try. Yeah, they were the first seed, but then at the same time, it could also be rust. They haven't played a meaningful game uh, in months. They've been the first seed for a long time, and I think that may have hurt them to take these last couple of months off, because while the Trailblazers were like hungry, you could tell that during this break, all they've been doing is thinking about this moment that they want to be in the playoffs. And then when they get into the bubble, their mission was get into the playoffs. So they had a mission that was reachable, and then they had a goal that was reachable, and then they accomplished that mission. They reached that goal. So just the confidence level that comes from reaching a goal like that is just automatically through the roof for any team. And the Lakers kind of weren't playing for much. They kind of had their spot already there for them. So that may have played against them. Uh, and they came out a little bit flat. You saw that first quarter. They came out flat. But to be honest, I'm also not scared, because that second half, that comeback from being down, whatever amount of points, I think they were down double digits. It seemed effortless. It seemed effortless. It seemed like they were just able to turn on a switch. And I think it came down to coaching, to be honest. On my take, I think it came down to coaching, which we could get into a little bit more. But I don't know, man. How do you think they came out?
Well, I definitely agree with you in the first part where the Blazers, they, before the bubble even started, right? They were talking about, hey, if we don't have a chance to make the playoff, we don't even want to be in the bubble. Why are you gonna, let us play these meaningless games? So that being said, they came in and they were ramping up their stress levels. They wanted to be playing at their best the whole bubble, right? Even these 8 games that helped them get into the bubble. And you have to put it up to Dame. I think honestly, I don't know. The coaching, I guess I didn't pay too much attention to the coaching. I paid more attention to like what was that like factor that won them the game. And for me that was Lillard. I feel like in the first 3 quarters he was kind of quiet. He was kind of like he wasn't too much into his offense, his crazy threes that we see from like almost a half court. And the Lakers were playing a really good defensive game against him, guarding him full court and just tiring him out. But then we see in the fourth quarter, he just flipped the switch, man, and he just made these crazy threes at moments when they needed them, and that just boosted them up. And so for me, I think what lost them that game was just at the end. I feel like the defense needed to be a little bit tighter, a little bit closer to Dame. Even if he's at the half court, you need to have a guy on him.
No question, no question. Dame definitely took his time. He was definitely, one of those. He was like a wolf hunting his prey. But waiting for his moment to attack. And I think it came. That shot where he came around the screen at the logo. Man, like you cannot take anything away from them from the work that he's put in to be able to like shoot it from there so comfortably.
Yeah.
And the focus to be in that moment the whole game it never felt like he quit, even if it looked like there was moments where the Lakers were about to kind of turn the top over and take control of the game. He never panicked, even though they did look tired. Not gonna lie, the Portland Trail Blazers did look tired, and I think going forward they still are gonna be the more tired team, and I think that'll start to show in these next few games. But no matter how tired you are, that adrenaline of winning and that confidence, it keeps you going. So I think they're still gonna fight. Regardless of that, I still blame internal. I'm always gonna look internal. I'm always gonna say, what the Lakers could have done better. I'm not gonna ever say, Damian Lillard beat me. Damian Lillard beat us. No, I think the Lakers had that game, and I think, to me, in my assessment, there was one decision that Frank Vogel could have made that would have kept the Lakers' momentum going on top, and that was the moment where he took Kyle Kuzma out while Kyle Kuzma was starting to get hot. I'm not sure if you remember that moment in the third quarter. The Lakers all game were looking for a third scorer the entire game, and then Kuzma starts to show that little bit of fire that we've seen in him in the past, but rarely this season. I felt like he was starting to show that there was a play where he knocked down that three, and then I think the very next time he got the ball, he just pushed the ball all the way to the rim and he scored. And then I think there's a timeout after that, and then Kuzma doesn't come back onto the court after the timeout.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm like, okay, like what's and then the backcourt after that was KCP and Danny Green. No offense to them, I think they deserve to be in those moments as well, and they do great work defensively, but they weren't knocking down shots, and I don't think you could play both of them at the same time anymore. I think at that point you choose one or the other. I would personally choose Danny Green, and I would take KCP out. Thank you for all the work you've been putting in. Stay ready, because we will need you. We may need you. Somebody gets into foul trouble. Kyle Kuzma, go do your thing. Defend hard and go do your thing. that was the one coaching decision that I would highlight. I don't think in listening to a lot of people talk about this game and speaking to because everybody's talking about the game today.
Mhm.
Everybody's talking about the game. In talking to a lot of people that know that's one thing that nobody is saying. I think that one decision wins us a game. If I'm being
Yeah,
honest.
yeah. So to the second point you made earlier about like not being scared, I'm 100% with you on that. I think in general the Lakers have proven that this season they're on another level, right? And this game is just kind of like a stress test for them. Hey, you can't come in here sleeping. Like you guys got to start from the go, just like the Blazers tried. In the beginning, I felt like they had the momentum. They were just firing and firing, and um, they have a lot of good talented players as well, right? So I like to look at the
Mhm.
other team as much as I look at the Lakers. But like in the third quarter, CJ came in and he was the baller. He kept them up. And Carmelo, he wasn't balling the whole game, but he had his shots, man. He put in his shots. Nurkic, he stepped up and Whiteside came in with the blocks. Like he has some crazy blocks. So I look at all that just to like think about the talent that there's in the other side, right? And then obviously the Lakers, I'm here for the Lakers, but um I do, so that's why I'm like, yeah, I'm not scared about that either because I know the Lakers have the firepower, and I agree with you. I think the Kyle Kuzma move in general all season we wanted that from him, and there's been spurts that we know that from him. We know that in a game he's not consistent. In the season, he's not consistent. But in a game, he gives you 5 minutes of like he's being aggressive, he's making threes, he's pushing the ball, and then he kind of falls off. And I don't know if that was kind of like I thought that Vogel had. He was like, okay, he had his spurt. Let's take him out and let's put somebody else that we can trust. But Danny Green and KCP were missing all their shots yesterday. They were struggling, and Anthony Davis was struggling too. He missed a lot of shots. So from that perspective, I do think that maybe Kyle Kuzma could have been, in there a few more minutes just to see how far he could take it. Let him keep on shooting, let him keep doing his thing.
And he'll feel the game, man. When he the type of player that he is, when he gets rolling, and his if his confidence is up, then he's not scared of anybody.
Yeah.
And that'll turn into the defensive end too. He'll turn it on defensively, even though I don't think he moves his feet defensively um, as well as he probably could. I think maybe he could put in a little more work on that end over the off season. Um, but I would just kind of pay attention to one thing at the next few games is when he's starting to get hot. It seems like, and I'm gonna put this if there's any blame to put to place it is on Kyle Kuzma because but it definitely feels like and this is the reason why I call this specific move out is because I've kind of noticed this trend over the last few games that I've been watching the Lakers. And yeah, they rely on him to score, but at the same time, it also feels like his leash is always so short. And I feel like the coaching staff has done that in the past where he's starting to get rolling and then they'll yank him for a bit. And I've even seen sometimes where he's asking for the ball and you could tell like he just scored a bucket. He just scored two in a row and he wants it. And, Anthony Davis, rightfully so, Anthony Davis or LeBron will, not pass him the ball and go into another option. And sometimes you got to go with the hot hand. You got to go with the hot hand. So I would definitely leave that up to him because at other times, there's times where they do give him the ball and he only knows one thing. He only knows shoot, score. So sometimes he's got to learn to make different decisions hey, just a quick pass. The ball's just going through me this time. So to be a little more unpredictable, I think is something that might help his game as well, especially with LeBron and AD commanding so much attention. I would definitely, if I was in Kuzma's ears, like, hey, next time you get the ball, just get it and find the next pass and then just cut. Now it keeps your defender on your toe. They don't know, are you going to shoot? Are you going to pass? Are you going to dribble? So but right now it just seems like every time he gets the ball, he's looking to score.
Yeah.
But the type of player he is, but mix it up a little bit. So I will put it all on Kuzma, but just something to pay attention to in the future, kind of that pay attention to those moments where it seems like he's about to get going. And we could touch base on another episode.
No, I see that though. I completely see that as well. I do feel like he's gotten predictable, right? And what you're saying is do a little bit different moves, so that you can become a better player, and the defenders can guard you a little bit differently, because right now when he gets the ball, like his mindset is just like, okay, if I got a little bit of space, I'm going to take the shot. If I don't, if I got somebody right on me, I'm going to dribble and try to get a layup. But it's becoming predictable, right? We know that he and a lot of the times he can do that. He can score, but it'd be good for him to make that first move and then make the pass or do something else, right? But that I think that's a great point. One player that stood out for me was Dwight Howard. I felt like the Lakers were struggling, and Dwight Howard came in with that aggression, that violent kind of like play that he has. He bended the fucking court, the board with his dunk. I mean, because of him, we came back. You know what I mean? And you could just feel his energy, man. That's one thing that I've loved about Dwight this whole season. He comes in and he changes the fucking attitude of the game. He's just in there, just grinding it out, just bumping elbows with everybody in there. Just that energy I love from Dwight, and I felt like with him in there, they were able to like come back up and start doing better matchups and all that.
Absolutely, and I'll just highlight that word that you used is energy. I think he's been, one of the key pieces that brings that positive energy, that up-tempo energy, just the way he runs the court. And most of LeBron's teams, if you see historically throughout his career, all the teams that he's played off, they all thrive off energy. From the beginning where he used to freaking throw powder up in the sky. He sets up this energy that's like encouraging, positive. And you didn't see that, to be honest, too much in the since the bubble started. And you didn't see that too much yesterday either. If it wasn't Dwight, it wasn't coming from the rest of the team either. So yeah. I think the Lakers need to figure out a way to get that energy from somewhere, because it feels like now that maybe they were relying on the crowd a lot for that energy. Mm-hmm. Because playing at Staples Center, that's a different ballgame, and nobody comes to Staples Center to Staples Center. Those bright lights, they're a little bit, they shine a little bit different at Staples Center. So every team that comes into Staples Center, it's like, everybody's watching this game, so I think the Lakers definitely benefited from that, but at this bubble tournament, they need to figure out a way to find that energy without the crowd, and I think that may have affected them in Game 1. So that's something to pay attention to as well.
Yeah, for sure. So to finish this game or this podcast, what's one thing that you would want to see more of next game from the Lakers?
Next game, to be honest, pound inside. I think our biggest asset is Anthony Davis, and I think he did okay. I don't think he looked as dominant as he should be. I felt like the Portland Trailblazers looked a lot more aggressive than our guys, to be honest, with the exception of Dwight Howard. But they definitely looked more aggressive than Anthony Davis and then JaVale McGee. If I'm matching up, Portland's top three guys, big men, the rookie, and the other two, man, I'm forgetting their name right now. But
from Portland?
Yeah, from Portland.
Whiteside?
Yeah, Whiteside, which Whiteside is their main guy. If you tell me Whiteside versus Anthony Davis, I'll take Anthony Davis any single day. You know what I mean? If you tell me Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee versus the rookie who came in and did excellent, he was coming off of energy. But
yeah,
our top three guys are way better than are way better than their top three guys. So we need to dominate that. If we don't dominate that, then we have no chance in this series because their backcourt is going to dominate us. The
Yep.
other thing is LeBron did his thing. You know, LeBron he did his thing. Danny Green's going to have to knock down at least 2 threes for us. KCP is going to have to knock down at least one. Give us at least
Yeah.
1 3, my guy.
Yeah.
Like, give us at least 1 3. And I'll definitely want to see some more Dion Waiters. I want to see some more Dion Waiters in uh, give him some of those minutes that went to KCP. Give J.R. Smith, to be honest, I still, you know, I would still maybe hold him off. I think there's going to be a moment, if not this series, in this playoffs for him. But I definitely want to see a little more Dion Waiters because I just think he's somebody that could create his own. He's
Yeah.
somebody that could go and get a bucket. And he doesn't. He's not afraid to to take his own shot, even if LeBron and Anthony Davis are in the game. So there's a few things that I'd like to see. You know, could the big men come up big and dominate the paint, and a little bit better shooting. We'll be okay.
Yeah. And I think one of the biggest issues for them last game was just the ball wasn't going in. They had a lot of shots. I saw a lot of open shots and they missed them. But one thing that I guess I would want to see is LeBron James being a little bit more offensive, uh, or scoring more, you know, like having that mindset to score a little bit more. I felt like he was a little bit passive on driving the ball, which is his biggest asset, just like bulldozing in and getting dunks or layups. I feel like he did that a couple of times and he got fouled and he didn't get called and and I feel like sometimes that gets in his head and he kind of like lays off that a little bit and starts looking more for the driving and then pass out. But I feel like if he does that a little bit more, you know, that's a big key to like the offense for the Lakers. Him driving in, scoring those easy layups or easy dunks.
I actually don't mind how he played, and I know we're definitely going to need a lot more of his score first aggressiveness throughout the playoffs. But this early in the playoffs, I don't want to use too much of that because at his age, if he's carrying that much of the load, you know, any little thing could happen. You know, he had an injury last year, which you know for throughout his career he's been pretty, you know, good at staying away from injuries. But at his age, you just never know. You know, we thought the
Yeah.
same way about Kobe, where he was you know, indestructible in a way, and then later in his you know, when he was 33, 34, he you know all it took was one play. You know,
Yeah.
so I would while I do want to see that from LeBron, I don't want to see it at this stage in the playoffs. You know, I would want to
Yeah.
wait for that, and I would want to rely on some of the other guys stepping up because LeBron, you can't ask for more than what he did. He got a triple double. You
Yeah.
know, he you know his stat line is like, and that was effortless. So I would rather see the team step up for an effortless LeBron game. And I definitely don't think that was LeBron yesterday. So while I do want to see him aggressive, man, let's hold off on that. Yeah.
I feel you on that. Yeah, and
Mhm.
I think that if guys would have made their shots yesterday, the game would have been a lot closer and he would have had a lot more assists because,
Mhm.
you know, he was definitely looking to pass the ball. Like there was one where he passed the ball like behind him and Morris didn't even see it coming.
Like
It,
the pass was too good. They were
it's too
joking.
good, yeah. Yeah, man. So definitely he could have had a lot more assists if guys would have been ready for those passes and made their shots. And I think that's still gonna be a huge improvement. And obviously, like the guys just have to be more prepared. Like you said, like his teammates have to just be there for him and back him up. He's the leader and he's gonna be looking for them first. That's his mentality. He's not a scorer first. I guess that's one of my favorite parts about LeBron is just that when he wants to score, like he can. And I feel like I don't see that enough from him. But
Right.
that's just not who he is. He's a playmaker. He wants to pass the ball. He wants to get everybody
Make
else
the right
involved.
basketball play.
Yeah, exactly. He's looking for the yeah. If he's open, obviously he's gonna take the shot, but he's always gonna try to look for the best play available. And most of the time, that means passing because they're doubling him or they're trapping him.
and the other thing I would say is make your free throws.
Yeah.
I gotta come with some stats to the next episode, but
Yeah.
make your damn free throws. I think I saw what, like 6 missed free throws down the stretch.
Yeah.
No way, there's no way. And I think in crucial moments where it's like I think they were tied at once, and we missed 2 free throws, and it's like you cannot do that.
Yeah, for
That
sure.
automatically takes the pressure off of the other team and puts all the pressure on you. So those
Yeah.
free throws are huge. And Anthony Davis, who's been great free throw shooter the whole year, I think throughout his whole career, was off yesterday from the
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's a good thing that I would.
Yeah, for sure. No, but we'll see tomorrow's, second game, and I think we'll see a different, ball game. I think the Lakers were tested. I'm sure they don't feel good about losing the first game, but yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm still excited just to be able to watch, basketball and the Lakers in the playoffs finally after 6 years.
That's true. Even though it still feels weird, it still
Yeah,
feels like what. It's been a crazy year, man. We lost Kobe. It's freaking bubble playoff NBA basketball. It's
yeah.
weird.
It is weird, bro. I mean, honestly, like just looking at you without a mask right now, it's refreshing because because I'm here working. I'm working long hours from 5 a.m. till like right now. I'm getting out around 4 p.m. But everybody's wearing mask all day. I'm wearing a mask all day.
Day at
Like
work all day.
the only time that I take the mask off is when I'm eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Other than that, I'm like there with the mask on. So it's crazy, man. This year has been crazy, and it's gonna
We
be
got
like
the
this.
proper social distance in the Zoom meeting call. So
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, man, I'm excited to at least have a little bit of entertainment and still catching up with you. It's fun.
yeah.
So for sure, thanks for stopping by.
2 more weeks in that training.
Yeah, I'll be back. I'm leaving like after Labor Day weekend,
Okay.
and because yeah, once the players get cut, then that's when like training camp is over and they start actually preparing for the first week of the game.
Well, good luck, man. Take your sponge in there, absorb as much as you can. I'm sure, like all the other personal trainers or all the other trainers that are there. I'm sure there's a lot to learn. And I'm sure
Yeah,
I already know how you are. You freaking picking up from everybody.
yeah,
So
yeah,
good
man.
stuff.
Thank you. Appreciate that, bro. Appreciate that for sure. But let's stay in touch and let's make another connection for a few more games this postseason.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm excited about this podcast and getting the ball rolling with this a little bit more. And
Yeah, I could definitely feel like there's some there's like some good content because I think we both come from a good angle so I know people love hearing Laker talk
oh yeah,
love hearing Laker talk. People love the Lakers.
yeah, definitely. And I would love to have other people involved in this too, man. I don't want to be selfish. I know there's a lot of Laker fans out there, so
Yeah,
so we'll get some more people involved in here as well.
heck yeah.
Cool, for sure,
All right,
bro.
man, good luck. Stay safe. Keep grinding, brother.